Each year starts with promise for so many drivers.
Fresh-faced and bushy-tailed, they arrive at Daytona with championship hopes.
And in Richmond, the select few get closer to their dream. But each driver shares the same nightmare.
My mom always told me I could be anything I wanted.
Anything I wanted.
Anything I wanted.
She didn't count on Jimmy.
While Johnson is magnificent, a once-in-a-generation talent, his dominance prevents others from tasting ultimate glory. For just $1, you can help contribute to the Stop Jimmy Foundation, dedicated to ending Jimmy Johnson's reign of terror atop the standings.
Please give to the Stop Jimmy Foundation. It's only $1.
There's not much hope for this season, but there is a tiny chance we can turn the tide.
Please, help us. Somebody's got to stop it.
How will we do it? I'm not sure. He's pretty much unstoppable. Why should you give? Because it's not fair.
It's not fair someone wins so convincingly each and every season. It's not fair we have to continue to cut teases featuring the 48.
It's not fair we're not all blessed with his good looks and impeccable hygiene. And I intend to do something about it.
We're drivers too. What about our dreams?
These dreams can come true with your donation.
$1. That's all it takes.
Now's our chance.
It's not an insurmountable lead. There's a glimmer of hope for the other Chase drivers. Let's build on that.
It's only $1. If you can give $1, 25 cents, Buffalo nickel, whatever you got, we'll take it.
I'll have to check with accounting about the Buffalo nickel, but you get the idea.
If you won't help us, who will?
Please give before it's too late and help us stop the drive for 5. And if you don't contribute, at least remember these words. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, is next on Speed.
NASCAR racing since 1949, Martinsville is a true original on the Sprint Cup Series. In the hills of Southwest Virginia, the scenery is beautiful, but the question today is who will be sitting pretty after 500 laps. The last 8 wins here have been shared by only 2 drivers. Jimmy Johnson has 5, and Virginian Denny Hamlin has 3, and they are both honing in on the championship. Kevin Harvick is still well within striking distance as race number 6 of the Chase brings us to the shortest track on the circuit. 2 drag strips and 2 U-turns make up Martinsville, and this place makes racing a true contact sport. Welcome everyone to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, as we are now past the halfway point on this chase in 2010 for the Sprint Cup Championship. And will the drive for 5 be alive, or can somebody stop Jimmy Foundation help or not and knock him off the pedestal of Sprint Cup Championship? Welcome everybody to Martinsville Speedway and NASCAR Race Day. I'm John Roberts. He is Kyle Petty, and he is race car driver number 28, Kenny Wallace, who, by the way, finished 13th yesterday in the Nationwide Race.
Great run.
Hustled over here, but now we have the last short track shootout of the year for the Sprint Cup Series.
I am so excited about Martinsville, and let me tell you why. I have people come up to me all the time, and they go, Jimmy Johnson going to win his 5th championship. I'm like, not so fast. Let me tell you why. It's so close that Denny Hamlin is on the pole. Jimmy Johnson qualified 19th. When they drop the green flag today, here's a little stat for you. When they go into turn 1 at the start of the race, Denny Hamlin will have a 38-point lead, at least for lap 1. So we have hope.
To me, Martinsville, the track, this is one of those wild cards. The track is drama. You got Jimmy, as he said, or you got Denny starting first. You got the 48 car starting 19th. These guys are separated, and the 29 is at the back of the pack. These guys are spread through the pack. The racetrack is that third element, that element that's going to come into play today that nobody can predict. It's going to get hot. It's going to get slick. There's going to be people running into each other, and things happen so fast. This place can take you out of the chase as much as put you in the chase.
In just a number of a few short laps, and it is a very short lap here at Martinsville. We'll show you the numbers, and you decide if it's a 3-man race or not. Here are the top 3 right now, with Kevin Harvick 77 back of Jimmy Johnson. 41 points separate JJ and Virginian Denny Hamlin, the 2 guys who have dominated this Martinsville racetrack. Jeff Gordon sits in 4th, 156 back, and then the numbers start getting big. Busch and Stewart 177, Carl Edwards 200, and the rest are back there, but certainly not mathematically out of this thing. But let's hear from the top 3 on what they think about Martinsville Speedway.
Performance-wise, I feel like it's been a good racetrack for us. We enjoy coming here and feel like we run well. We just need to get the finish this weekend that we feel like we can get.
Probably the only first or second race that we've had all year that we've actually just worked on qualifying on Friday. I know the 48 team does that a lot, and they typically out-qualify us every single week. So this is the first time for us doing that, and obviously we executed really well today.
There's a certain rhythm to this track that it took me a while to figure out, but once I found the rhythm, things have been really good for me here, and it's just a fun place to race. It can be frustrating at times, there's no doubt about that, but when you get in the right rhythm and things are clicking off like you'd hope, you can have a lot of fun on this racetrack.
Well, here's a few more numbers for you to chew on this morning. 3/4 of the race winners at this racetrack in the long history have started in the top 10. Jimmy Johnson starts 19th today. Denny Hamlin starts first. But when Denny Hamlin won this thing last time we raced here, coincidentally, he started 19th.
And you know what's more important than that stat is Kevin Harvick starting 36 in the back of the pack. Now, he's got a new pit crew, so he's hoping for fast pit stops to get him towards the front of the field. He's not going to be able to do it all by himself.
Yeah, and Kenny was explaining to me before we even went on the air that the 33 and the 29 have exchanged pit crews. And this is what's important here. Qualifying is important, and you talk about the guys coming from the top 10 to win the race. That's because pit selection is so important here. Getting in and out of that pit stall, getting in and out of this strange pit road, which we'll hear more about later. But, when you start changing pit crews and you're in the middle of a championship chase, Childress Racing and RCR is throwing everything they can at that 29 car to get them up where they can compete with the 48 and with the 11.
And how important could it possibly be for Denny Hamlin to start on the pole here today when he's dominated this racetrack over the past couple of years?
But this is Denny Hamlin's time to capitalize. He should win this race. If he doesn't win the race, then he doesn't capitalize. This is one of his very best racetracks. 3 wins. He's the only one that can contend with Jimmy Johnson, who's won 5 races here. So I'm going to tell you what, watch NASCAR Victory Lane tonight for the update, because it's going to be exciting.
It could shake up a lot, but like you say, Kyle, unless somebody at the top of this heap has some trouble, the rest of the guys aren't going to be able to catch up. And we're talking, the second and third position drivers.
Yeah, the 24 car is basically 150-some points out. If these guys have catastrophic failure at the first of the race, if the 11 and the 48 and the 29 have trouble, the best the 24 is going to do is get caught back up. That's the deal. We made a big deal a couple of weeks ago about Tony Stewart. Moving up 5 positions. Yeah, he moved up 5 positions, but he only picked up like 6 points on the leader. Moving up is one thing. Moving to the top of the heap is a totally different thing.
Well, a totally different thing that's been going on off the track this week is the drama at Richard Petty Motorsports. Throughout the show today, we will hear from some of the players involved, but we will also bring you up to date on exactly what is going on with that race team. Garage reports are coming up next on NASCAR Race Day.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by the General Automobile Insurance Services. For the best car insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now. And by Cheerios. Check out Cheerios.com/love for heart-healthy tips and a chance to win the ultimate race weekend.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Today, we will witness the 124th race at this very historic short racetrack, the shortest one on the circuit, but definitely the longest when it comes to history. For more on what's going on down in the garage area, let's check in first of all with Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Good morning, Johnny. Good morning to all of you here at Martinsville Speedway. We're going to be past the halfway point of the chase after today, and never thought this time would come. It's coming down to crunch time. Who's desperately looking for a win today? Well, it's Denny Hamlin, who comes into Martinsville second in points, only 41 points back. He told me on Friday the goal for the team was to qualify, and qualify up front. That's exactly what Denny Hamlin did on the pole, his second pole at Martinsville, which means he takes pit stall number 1, an advantage for Denny Hamlin. Now, what does that mean? Well, our points leader, Jimmy Johnson, did not qualify as well. When the green flag drops, folks, Denny Hamlin will be our points leader by 38 points. I know it's hard to imagine. Of course, the race is not going to end at that time. But if you look at Denny Hamlin, inside his car, there's a motivational words of wisdom that he gets every week. This week, do you. Be yourself for Denny Hamlin. 3 of the last 5 races have been won by Denny Hamlin. Can he make it 4? Well, a guy that's also looking for that win is Kevin Harvick, third in points. He's 77 points back. Now, keep in mind, this is RCR's home track. Welcome, North Carolina, not very far from Martinsville, Virginia. But Kevin Harvick starts 36th today. That is a hard spot to start this race on such a small racetrack. But here's the good news for Kevin Harvick. Yesterday in happy hour, he was the fastest on the lap tracker of all the average times. So he has a fast car. It's just a matter of getting to the front once that green flag drops. And Hermie Sadler, as we know, it doesn't take very long to go a lap down here at Martinsville.
Well, you're right, Wendy, and welcome back to race day to you. We missed you last week. And look, Jimmie Johnson, if you look at this from the outside looking in between Jimmie Johnson and Denny Hamlin, this looks like your typical great short track showdown. And to add to that, it's for the lead in the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship. Now, Denny Hamlin's done his part. He qualified up front. As Wendy said, Jimmie Johnson qualified 19th. And for those two guys to get up front and battle it out for the victory, the 48 car is going to have to gain some track position somehow, whether it be on the racetrack, on pit stops, 2 tires, no tires. Chad Knaus usually finds a way to get his car up front. But they haven't been completely happy with that car as they have in years past. So these guys have some work to do to get up there and battle with Denny Hamlin for this race today and some momentum headed to this championship. So, but a lot of variables, Wendy's, as you say. If you have to come on pit road here for a green flag pit stop, you could lose 2, maybe even 3 laps. And so a lot of stuff goes on this short track here at Martinsville. And I agree with Kyle Petty and the guys at the set. This thing is far from over. You have to get through Martinsville and Talladega. Then let's start talking about points. Johnny?
Hermie, thanks a lot. Now, today, race fans, you're going to want to stay with us throughout this 2-hour NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. We're going to give you a very unique perspective behind the scenes on what a race car driver goes through to prepare for one of these races and what his team goes through as well. Our friend and race car driver, Hermie Sadler, will be piloting the number 71 car today, and they're planning on running the full distance here at Martinsville. So Hermie will be with us throughout the show, showing us exactly what his team is going through to get ready for this race. And Hermie, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not only at the shop, but it's at the racetrack as well.
Well, it's been a busy weekend, but it's been a fun weekend, no question about it. And I've got Kevin Buckler, my car owner, Dan Stillman, my crew chief. We'll talk about the day. First of all, Kevin, I think you made a great choice of drivers today. Tell us what that look is for the 71 car today.
It's really good to have this driver in our car this weekend. It's a lot of fun. And, we have a new partner on the car this weekend with Mod Space this week and next week at Talladega. We're real happy to have these guys on board. They're one of North America's leading providers of permanent and temporary modular construction. But I got to tell you, that driver is going to be really a hoot for us today, and we're looking forward to this race. It's going to be great.
Well, we got a point situation as also we're fighting to keep this 71 car in the top 35 in points. So now you can see it right here on the screen. Not very much cushion for me to work with today, crew chief Dan Stillman. Only about 15 points to try to keep this car inside the top 35. And so we're starting kind of towards the back, but happy hour practice was pretty good, and I know you guys made some good changes for the race today.
Yeah, we did. We're looking forward to it, but like you said, the points are close, so that's our main goal, is to finish ahead of those guys that we're battling with in the points, and, like you said, happy hour went pretty good, so we'll see what happens.
And how do you call a race today as a crew chief? We talk about a short track race. I mean, a lot of different pit strategies going on. Can you set a strategy at a short track race like Martinsville before the race, or do you have to evolve your decision making as the race goes on?
Yeah, it always evolves. You just have to see how it's going, where you are on the track, who you're battling with, and when the cautions come out. You got to take advantage when you can. So you really can't have a game plan going in. You got to adapt as the race goes on.
And later on today, Johnny, we'll show you some of my safety equipment. We'll talk about the checklist on the car, what the guys are doing to get ready for this race. We'll look at my pre-race meal for today. A lot of stuff coming today here on race day, Johnny.
We're looking forward to it, Hermie. Now, can he speak Southern Virginian? Does he understand your accent, Dan?
Oh, yeah, no question. He's not from Southern Virginia. I think he's from, where are you from?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Emporia, Virginia.
Wisconsin and Emporia.
Hermie, why didn't you interview the driver? I want to hear from the driver.
I'm going to interview the driver later on today.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that one.
Still so much to come on this edition of NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. When we come back, we'll have all the latest news surrounding Casey Kane, where he is driving right now, and also the car he left, what the situation is there, and also one of the more pleasant surprises of this season will join us momentarily.
NASCAR is a team sport, especially when there's only one of you. Regan Smith stops by the set to chat about Team 78, and Mr. Independent tells us about the rewards and challenges of a single car shop. heading your way. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
Welcome back, everyone, to Martinsville Speedway. We always try to touch on the other 31. It's not just about the top 12 drivers as we head towards the end of the season. And one of those other 31 just so happens to be a young driver from Cato, New York. His name is Regan Smith, and lately you guys have been on a roll in that number 78 team. You guys aren't located on the East Coast. You got a single-car team, and you guys are beating the odds.
We're trying, man. We're, we've been working hard, and it's been something that we've been working on since the start of the year, and we're just starting to get the rewards that we want to right now. And I couldn't be prouder of everybody at Furniture Row Racing, right down to the guys on the road with me, the guys in the shop. We got a great owner, Barney Visser, who's very committed to the program and committed to this sport, and I think he's proven that over the past 5 or 6 years. And we're having fun right now.
Yeah, we just as Johnny said, we're the other 31, okay, and you're in that group. And for the record, I'm going to say you've already got one win under your belt. NASCAR just took it away from you. But when you guys run and you show up, and we're talking about being on a roll the last couple of weeks, what is a good solid day for this team? When you come to the racetrack, what do you consider a solid day for the 78 team?
Well, I think for us, that's changed throughout the course of the year. When we first started this year, we were thinking, okay, 20th to 25th, we want to do that every week. Well, then we bumped it up to we want to be 20th every week. Now we're to the point where if we're out of the top 15, it's been a disappointing day, and that's what we expect out of ourselves, and we want to continue to work and build that until you get to where you're consistently a top 10, top 5 team, and that's when the other good stuff happens at that point.
Reagan, when you drove for DEI, me and Kyle Petty agreed that you won the race.
Yes.
At Talladega. Now, Talladega is next week. You got to have a lot of confidence going back at the site of your last victory.
It's the only.
See, look, there you won.
Yes. The crazy part is it's the only victory that I've ever had in my career that I didn't get a trophy with.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that worked out.
Hey, make yourself a trophy.
Yeah, I got a little aluminum foil one sitting at the house there. So, that was a really good day for us, and it was something I was really proud of with DEI. It had been a rough year for us that year, and it seemed like that made it better, and then for about a half a lap it made it better, and then it was, it wasn't good again. But I look forward to going there. I like the plate racing. I really enjoy it, and we've got a great program at Furniture Row Racing with the plate stuff too, and it gives you that added level of confidence going in there to start those races off.
Now, Regan, when any race team goes against the grain, being a single-car operation and being centered in the middle of the country instead of on the East Coast or in Charlotte, people always wonder, the first question is, why, and why don't you do what everybody else is doing? So you guys have to stick to your guns to be going against the grain.
Yeah, we do, and I think the biggest thing is maybe 10 years ago it would have been a big deal to be located in Denver and to be far away from the hub of the sport. And now the main thing for us is just logistically we have to plan ahead a little bit more. The trailer maybe has to leave 6-10 hours ahead of time, or maybe the guys have to fly out at a different time, stuff like that. And we know all the little nuances to make that happen and to make it work and to get the engines and the chassis back and forth across the country. And I think we've made it work well, and we want to continue to make it work well.
Well, let's go down to Wendy Venturini now and check in with some of the other principals in that organization. Wendy?
Thank you, Johnny. Yes, I'm with Joe Garone and Pete Rondu. Let's start with Joe first, because, Joe, you guys are stationed in Colorado. That's a lot of logistical changes and almost could be a logistical nightmare. Why keep that strategy in place, and why make that move from west to east every week?
Well, to start with, there's actually some benefits that you don't think of, and one of them is in the world where we're at, where we live, it's a beautiful place to live, but it's also secluded. So everything that we do at our shop and all the focus of our employees is purely 100% on what we're trying to accomplish as a team without any distractions from the outside.
I can imagine. It's good to get away. All right, crew chief, talk about strategies, because in a couple last races, Pete, between Kansas, California, you've made some pit calls that have been beneficial for the team. What kind of strategy do you try to employ each weekend?
Well, it's actually last couple weeks I probably got lucky more than anything, but it's just it's one of them deals where we try to stay on the as close to the lead lap as we can, and then work Regan into getting him a good solid finish at the end. And it's a race long task to do that. But as we're progressing here, it seems to be that it's getting a little bit easier for us.
All right, now Regan's on the set. Pretend he can't hear you. What are the strengths Regan brings to the 78 car?
He's just a good all-around good guy. His communication is getting much better than it was at the beginning of the year, with his feedback at what the car's doing. I mean, we all have our moments when we lose a little bit of that, but he's able to regain his composure pretty quick right now.
All right, well, that sounds good. It seems like it's paying off for Regan Smith. Johnny, Pete, and Joe, who are kind of the headstones behind this organization, and despite having to travel out west to east most of these Cup weekends, it seems like it's been successful for them.
Wendy, thanks, and those guys definitely need to keep up the good work. They'll certainly get it done. Regan, if you look at the last 4 races of the season now, what's your goal? What would you like to see, and what's realistic for this team going into next year?
Well, I think for us, we definitely want to come out of here with some more top 15 finishes and break into that top 10 area. I think that's realistic, and quite honestly, I'll be disappointed if we don't do that here in the last 4 or 5 races, whatever it is now. And yeah,
there are 5. I didn't want to take away today. Yeah, there are 5.
Going into next year, though, we want to continue to progress and get to where the car's in the top 20 in points. We can look at where we are in points right now and see some races early on in the year that were big disappointments, and even some more recently to where maybe something stupid happens. Maybe I make a mistake on the track, or maybe we have a part break or something like that. And I think that's a realistic goal for us, is to end the year next year in the top 20 in points and to definitely compete for top 10s and hopefully wins at some point.
Regan, congratulations, man.
Yes.
Good luck today, and we'll see you at Talladega.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sign of a good race for you. Yeah, exactly. And we also want to have you, the fans, join us at Talladega. We're going to have a lot of fun at the Speed Scream Contest as it returns to Hallodega, and we want you at home to participate. Upload a video of your best scream for your chance to win a frightfully good Hallodega prize pack, including 4 tickets, pit passes, and much more. To submit videos, vote for your favorite, visit speed.com/promos. Still to come on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Kasey Kahne was the driver of the number 9. This weekend, he's coming in as the driver of a new race car. We'll check in with Kasey to see how the progress is going there. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. We have a gorgeous afternoon here at Martinsville Speedway for the last short track shootout of the year. Now, we all know that once you come to the racetrack, you better be prepared, because you got to run with what you brung, as they like to say. But in this case, we have a driver in the race today, Hermie Sadler, who's going to show us exactly what goes on for the team before the race. And there's as much work before as there is during. Right, Hermie?
You're right, Johnny. We want to interrupt this edition of Race Day to bring you another Hermie Sadler 71 update, if you guys don't mind. Right now, the car's in the inspection line inside of the back straightaway here at Martinsville Speedway. Give me to run across the scales, check the tread width, all those kind of things. But look, here's what I like. Here's my insurance policy, the checklist for the 71 car today. That means everything is going to stay on this car all day. Nothing's going to fall off. Okay, we're going back through the inspection line. Here's a 71 car. One thing that I want to point out that a lot of fans talk about, look at these tear-offs. On a short track, there's a lot of debris, a lot of rubber flying off the cars in front of you onto the windshield. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 times during the course of this race today that I can get a clean windshield and see where I'm going. That'll be a big help. A lot of stuff goes into a short track race, but what my guys have told me, the most important thing for me today, JR, is to hold a pretty wheel.
I love it.
And that's a pretty wheel, right?
That is a pretty wheel.
You need gloves.
Yeah, you need good gloves for that wheel, and that's just a temporary wheel. It's a real one on there, by the way. Now, if you tuned into Race Hub last Thursday, Steve Burns and company put forth a comprehensive hour of all the information you need to know about the dramatic breaking news about Kasey Kahne and Richard Petty Motorsports. Be sure to tune to the Race Hub all weekend long, all weekdays long, starting with Monday, to get the latest on any situation that's developing off the racetrack. Now, let's take a look at the timeline surrounding Kasey Kahne and his tenure at RPM Motorsports that just ended not too long ago. Now, first of all, it was April 14th, 2010 that Kahne signed to drive for Hendrick. But then Kahne signed a 1-year deal to drive for Red Bull in 2011. That happened in August. October 16th, last weekend, Kahne crashed at Charlotte. J.J. Yaley finished the race after the car was repaired because Kahne left the track. And then October 20th, last Wednesday, Kahne was released by RPM. Eric Almirola was to drive the number 9 at Martinsville. And now Red Bull announces Kasey Kahne will drive the number 83 for the remainder of the 2010 season. Now, it is a lot more going on at RPM than just Kasey Kahne. There's all kinds of behind-the-scenes rumors. We haven't heard exactly what's going on yet because nobody from Richard Petty Motorsports has come out and told us exactly what's happening yet. But here's Robbie Loomis with his view on the future for Richard Petty Motorsports.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about our relationship with Roush. Roush has been great to us. They've been a great sponsor, a great provider, and worked for us in a lot of different ways to help us. From the engine shop side with Doug Yates, it's been amazing. And, you know, if there's been anything I've not felt good about it, they had 3 cars make the chase, and we didn't. That's up to us to get our program better. A lot of people working collectively together to make make this thing be more successful as we go forward in the future. And like Richard said, he'd come down Thursday. He's like, look, guys, we're in the same business. We're trying to provide winning race cars and give them to A.J. Allmendinger, Elliott Sadler, and our drivers that are driving the cars today. So the game hadn't changed. It's the same thing we're trying to do.
So we've all heard the rumors all weekend long about what went on during the week with Richard Petty Motorsports apparently having cars confiscated, repossessed by Jack Roush Racing, and the Roush guys giving the cars back so they can come racing. But I think we have to clear everything up right away with Kyle Petty. I think a lot of fans have asked this question. Well, why doesn't Kyle just tell us what's going on? Kyle, you have nothing to do with Richard Petty Motorsports.
I have nothing to do with Richard Petty Motorsports. Don't work there.
So
don't
they can stop emailing you?
Yeah, you can stop emailing me. I'm not on Twitter. You can't find out anything. I will say this. After hearing Robbie Loomis's comments and after hearing the no comments out of RPM, yeah, I don't care where you're from in the United States. I know it's the political season, but there's more spin going on here than at any other time in this NASCAR season. There's a lot of junk out there right now. There's both sides of the story, and there's the truth. And the truth will eventually come out, but we've not heard it today.
But right now, Kenny, the truth is exactly what Robbie Loomis said and exactly what the drivers said, that they got to concentrate on racing.
I had to get this out from underneath the table. Here's what it's really about, race fans.
Oh, now you're going to start this.
George Gillette owns a soccer team over in England. Well, he did own a soccer team. He was bought out, but I'll stop just at that because don't want to get in any trouble. George's ball isn't bouncing.
Well, Kenny, you can say it was bought out by John Henry. John Henry, Roush Fenway.
Oh,
it's Fenway.
This is so convoluted.
It's so convoluted. You can figure the rest of it out right there.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because we only have 2 hours on this show, and it would take the whole 2-hour show to explain exactly what's going on with the finances. But the bottom line is those cars are here at the racetrack, and what they have to do is perform. A.J. Allmendinger said it best the other day. He said, look, man, my job is to drive this car. I can't think about Talladega. I can't think about anything else. I just got to drive.
But that's all the drivers have to think about, and that's all they should think about. Elliott and all those guys over there and AJ, all they have to do is drive the race car. Now, it's their job, RPM's job, to put winning race cars under them. And it appears that for the last 5 races of the season, whether they're going to be in business or not is up for grabs right now. And that's the big rumor, and that's what's out there. So these guys, they can't focus on that. They've got to focus on just going to the racetrack, sitting in that race car, and doing the best they can. The teams, on the other hand, the sponsors, on the other hand, their business partners like Roush, on the other hand, they do have to worry about things. And that's behind the scenes, but that's not a driver issue.
Now, we will be hearing from Casey Kane in just a moment, but Kenny Wallace, you have to wonder, first of all, about the future of that team, and you have to wonder about a guy like Marcos Ambrose, who has signed to go to that team next year.
Oh, God. Marcos Ambrose has to be sick to his gut. Marcos Ambrose makes a move. He quits Michael Waltrip Racing. Marcos Ambrose says, I'm going to go drive, for George Gillette. And then all of a sudden, we read this week, Marcos Ambrose quotes, he says, look, he says, I took a chance. I knew the chance was going there. I knew what was going on. Marcos said, I didn't go into this deal blinded. So let's pray for Marcos Ambrose that the ride will still be there. And he says, look, there's a possibility I might not be there.
There's certainly a lot more to this story, and as it comes out, we will bring it to you. We got to take a quick break here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. But when we come back, we'll tell you exactly what Dale Jr. was doing off the racetrack last week. You want to stay around and check this out.
We're not gamblers, but if we were, we'd be all in on these two today. Jimmy and Denny own the last 8 victories at the clip. And if Hamlin's going to make a move, he'd better start now. We've got the lowdown on the 48 and 11's Martinsville dominance. And we'll let you know where to place your bets this time around. Stay tuned. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on Speed.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Martinsville is the shortest track on the circuit, and it's as important here to go fast as it is to slow down. Here's Joey Logano with your Home Depot Hot Lap.
Hey, this is Joey Logano with your Home Depot Hot Lap. This week in Martinsville, the most important thing we got to worry about is brakes. Making sure they're there at the end is definitely a big deal. The other thing is making sure you keep the heat out of the brakes. You'll melt the bead in a heartbeat. I've done it here before, so definitely got to take care of that for sure. The other thing is it's so slow. You're so slow in the center to turn. Getting off the corner is a hard thing. You're bolting down 800, 850 horsepower to the racetrack, and it makes it a challenge, especially when you get old tires. So it's a matter of getting forward, driving your car, keeping it turning. But like I said, the biggest thing is keeping that car slowed down, maybe backing up your entry to make sure you have those brakes at the end of the race when you need to drive hard and get some cars when you can. So that's your Home Depot Hot Lap.
And by the way, you also need brakes in Bristol as well.
Exactly.
Right.
That looks like Bristol to me. I don't know.
Now, this is definitely Martinsville right here. You see the 2 drag strips and the 2 U-turns. And one driver who has had a tremendous amount of success on the next 2 racetracks coming up is none other than Dale Earnhardt Jr. 10 top 10s in 21 starts here at Martinsville. And at Talladega, he has 5 wins and 11 top 10s in 21 starts. And Talladega is definitely Earnhardt country. But off the track yesterday, Dale Jr. had a pretty big day.
Thank God he cut the ribbon and not my hair. That's all I got to say.
It was a gigantic deal for camp. You know, we rely solely on the generous donations of people like Dale Jr. and people in NASCAR.
One of the cool things about the Victory Junction camp is that I can literally see the dollar move through the stages and how it's working. There's just so many things going on here and so many outlets. It just makes you want to help, want to be involved because the kids will love it. This is like Disneyland in North Carolina for them.
It's a wonderful day today, and it's always gratifying when someone that my son Adam looked up to Dale Jr. and somebody that he was able to race against saw it to honor him by building the amphitheater here at Victory Junction.
The backdrop is a western town, which is kind of a cartoonish, childlike vision of this western town I have on my own property. We thought that would be a great backdrop. You can go inside it, it's functional inside, got a jail and everything else in there, and the kids can utilize that and have fun with that. And the amphitheater itself is functional for music, for performing arts, or whatever the kids might want to do there. When you see it on paper and you're like thinking about what it's going to be like, you know, it's one thing, but when you see it in person, it's pretty neat.
His generosity was a big shot in the arm to us at a time when we really needed it, with the economy being the way it is. And for him to come along and feel compelled to do this for us, we're just thrilled.
You can't say this very often, but again, camp just got cooler.
Yeah, it did. And Junior just got cooler. Okay, that's the way it was. I mean, he drew this thing up, and it's basically it's Whiskey River. You know, it's his vision of what he thinks a Western town and what kids should think it is. And he and Kelly came up with it in the Dale Jr. Foundation. They worked really hard. And when he saw it for the first time, I wish we'd have had footage of him seeing it for the first time, because he's like, this is just like the drawing. This is just like my drawing. And it's pretty cool. It was good. He did a great job, and thank you, Dale Jr.
And nothing better to see the smile on those kids' face at Victory Junction Gang Camp. What a great place. And what a great driver Denny Hamlin has been here at one of his hometown Virginia racetracks. He's dominated over the past 5 races. Let's see what he can do today. We'll talk about that in a moment. But also, race car driver Hermie Sadler has the Breakfast of Champions coming your way.
Mike Monkey may be his day job, but Hermie's a driver at heart, and he's strapping up and hammering down today. We'll continue the sneak peek into life behind the wheel and show you how a driver gets ready to hit the track. Coming at you, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on Speed.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, 500 laps around any racetrack can be very physically demanding. When you have to go around a racetrack like Martinsville, it can flat out beat you up and wear you out. So what do you have to do? You have to have the Breakfast of Champions before you get ready to jump behind the wheel of a race car. Let's go to Hermie Sadler to see what kind of breakfast a race car driver really needs. Hermie?
Well, JR, right now is when we're taking you behind the scenes, showing our race day viewers at home really what it's going to take for me to have a good finish today. Now, I sent some of my scouts down to my competitors, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and Mark Martin. They're eating bananas, oranges, cantaloupes, salad, fruits, all kind of vegetables. But they're not going to compete with me. You know why? Here's my pre-race meal right here. I got pancakes. We're going to flop them here on the grill. Pancakes, Breakfast of Champions. And look, don't forget, on top of the pancakes, we're going to put some Anderson's pure maple syrup on top of it. That'll beat a box of fruit any day of the week, Johnny.
Hermie, you just have to make sure you don't flop on the racetrack, right? That got nothing. I thought that at least got a laugh out.
He stopped on that one. He stopped.
All right, we never want to get anything boring at the racetrack. And now our racing chef, Nikki Morris, wants to show you how to make sure your pre-race meal is anything but routine.
I know how exciting it is, this chase, and everyone's having parties for the race every week, and I know what it gets like. You're cooking the same thing over and over. I want to show you a couple hors d'oeuvres. that'll just put a lot of life into your party. Now, these are for everyone, but Kyle, don't worry, we got a bag of potato chips for you. It'll be fine. Let me show you how simple it is. In here, I've got a mixture of cream cheese and blue cheese. Now, if you don't like blue cheese, don't worry, put a different cheese in there. I'm popping a grape in it. If you don't like grapes or you love grapes, put it in there. If you don't, put an olive in. Now look at that. It goes right in some chopped pecans. We're gonna make like a little mini cheese ball, little personal one. These are wonderful. Look at how great that looks. Great display, very simple. Now I have to tell you, next Saturday on our show, you have to watch it. We've got some great guests, including Joey Logano. Joey did a great job. He's hilarious. And we were also out in Kansas City. We're featuring a barbecue place that is out of this world. Amazing food. I'm not going to tell you where it is. You can check it out. In here, I've got some diced peppers, onions, a little oil and vinegar. Now, if you need the exact recipe for this, you can go to theracingchef.com. Now, I'm putting it right on top of these green-lip mussels. In here, I've got a mixture of Parmesan cheese, breadcrumbs, fresh herbs. It's going right in here, right on the top. Now, I've already baked trays of these at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Got a nice display here. How does that look? Isn't that wonderful? I gotta try a bite of this.
What about your buddies?
Hold on, he is like Speed's own personal cheese ball. Okay, let me just say that right now.
I'm just
sorry.
wondering where the food is.
He never cooks.
How come he's not?
You and him are going to go at it all year.
Stay with us. Still got a lot more NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot coming your way from the shortest track on the circuit. It is race number 6 in the chase. We'll be back in just a moment.
He's out of the chase, but at the head of the class with this season's trophy collection. We'll show you how Jamie Max stayed in the headlines by winning 3 of the year's biggest races. Around the Turn, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on Speed.
Welcome back, everybody. One of the better qualifying efforts of the year for Marcus Ambrose happened on Friday, and qualifying is very important at this racetrack. 3/4 of the winners here have come from the top 10 starting positions. Let's take a look at Casey Kane, qualified 33rd in his first effort behind the wheel of the 83, and of course that was the first time at the racetrack with that team, so 33rd, it's not really that bad.
And qualifying second, listen to this, from Australia, mate. He qualified second. Marcos Ambrose, of course, he's in the news, hoping that he will be driving for Gillette Racing next year. Listen, this is bad. 36th. He qualifies 36th. Kevin Harvick, 77 points out of the championship.
And here's one of the guys who has just dominated this place, the 48 car. Slips just a little bit and ends up 19th, which is not normally where these guys want to start. They want that early pit position because that's critical to Chad's cause as you go into the race. And here's a guy who said, we did what the 48's been doing. We worked on qualifying, we executed, we made it happen, and the 11 car starts on the pole. And it's strange, you've got the 11 on the pole, and we said again, the 48 in 19th, and the 29 all the way back in 36th. Our 3 contenders basically bookend the field.
Now, if you take a look at qualifying in this racetrack or race speeds, you will see that the difference between first and second is generally a couple thousandths of a second. The difference between the car that starts first and the car that goes home first is often a couple of tenths of a second. So it's very tight here. As Chad Knaus tells us in our Sunoco Pit Strategy of the Week, track position can be everything.
All right, guys, this is an interesting couple of weeks. Obviously here at Martinsville this weekend, the shortest track on the circuit. And then next weekend, we go all the way to Talladega for the largest racetrack on the circuit. A couple of things you got to pay attention to here at Martinsville. Obviously, you've got to watch the caution flags. On average, you get a caution about every 30 laps. Well, what can possibly happen here is you get a couple of quick cautions, and then you get a long green flag run. And it'll force a lot of guys who maybe stayed out on those previous cautions to have to pit under green flag situations. And that is very detrimental. Obviously, from that point, you lose laps, and you can really get behind the 8 ball. Now you get back towards the end of the race, maybe you've already completed your 135 lap Sunoco fuel run, and you're trying to figure out if you want to stay out or if you want to pit underneath those last couple of cautions to get the track position or fresh tires. It can be very, very tricky. Watch Denny Hamlin last time. He pitted, got 4 fresh tires, and bullied his way through the field and got the win. Other guys previous years, they've stayed out, maintained the track position, and won the race. This one is awfully, awfully tricky, and also be cautious on pit road. It's very tricky.
Chad, thanks. After the checkered flag is waved, be sure to check out NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and catch all of the race highlights in raw emotion straight from Victory Lane. Also, go to speed.com, keyword Sunoco, to enter for your chance to win an autographed flag signed by the winner of today's race. Well, your Camping World Truck Series points leader, Todd Bodine, was racing with a very heavy heart yesterday as he came in here to Martinsville. This weekend, his mother, Carol June Bodine, passed away, and we are certainly racing on this weekend in honor of Mrs. Bodine and the Bodine family, who has meant so much to racing throughout the years. Well, let's go to the on-track action right now, and anytime you come to a truck race, chances are you're going to see the number 18 truck up front at one point along the way.
And you're thinking right now he's going to win the race. But watch this. This is outrageous. Follow this all the way through the corner.
Justin Laughlin in the 7, Johnny Sauter in the 13, and they decide to get together for a little while.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, that's just crazy right there. I got nothing else to say about that. That's just crazy.
Nothing crazy about this. See Ron Hornaday go on the high side around Kyle Busch, and he would come around to take his first victory at Martinsville, and also he now becomes the first Truck Series winner at this track to take home that big grandfather clock, and he could not be more excited about this. After 21 of 25 races, the lead for Todd Bodine is pretty big over Eric Almirola, Sauter, Austin Dillon, and Matt Crafton round out your top 5. Your top 10 rounded out by Peter Skinner, David Starr, and Jason White. Saturday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to one of the circuit's most intimidating tracks, and we'll get back to that in just a moment. But Nationwide Series highlights started out with Brad Keselowski making the trek after Cup Series practice, jumped in the plane, and flew all the way over to St. Louis to run for the final time in the Nationwide Series there. And Brad Keselowski would have a whale of a day, but Kenny Wallace, so would you. Spent a lot of time in this on this track, running in the top 10.
Well, I was happy to have my brother Rusty provide a fast car for me, finish 13th. But look at this. This is the last lap. 4 new tires for Brad Keselowski. Look at him going at it in the back there. This was the last lap ever at Gateway, and here we are at the finish. What a race.
Brad Keselowski already has a commanding points lead, and he just added to that as he hones in on Roger Penske's first ever NASCAR Series championship, and he was the winner of the 5-hour energy race there. As 32 of 35 are in the bag, and his points lead is 485 points.
Turn out the lights.
The party's over. We think it's definitely over on that one, as Brad Keselowski has a chance to lock that thing up mathematically and realistically by the time we get to the final race of the season. Well, there's nobody better in the past couple of seasons than Denny Hamlin here at Martinsville, and when we come back, we will speak to Denny live. Stay with us, everybody.
My mom told me I could always be anything I wanted. She didn't tell me I couldn't be Jimmy.
No, Greg, you can't. Heartbreaking, isn't it?
If you won't help, who will?
If you can't trust Junior, who can you trust? You certainly can't trust Jimmy. He won't give these guys a chance.
What about Carl? What about Clint? What about me, by the way?
I don't know, but I need your money.
Just one. Please give.
100% of every donation that doesn't go to my clothing stipend goes to stopping Jimmy from getting his 5p.
Please, people, we need $1. That's all we need.
Just dial this number and give these drivers a new lease on their dreams.
Last March in Martinsville, Denny Hamlin was not in the giving mood whatsoever, nor was crew chief Mike Ford. They took a gamble that a lot of people questioned, but in the end, it meant Denny took home the big money and the grandfather clock.
Calling the race yesterday, absolutely the right thing to do. The jet dryer started at 8:30 this morning to give us a raceable surface. A day of rain, now we are ready to race at the short track that thinks it's a super speedway in Martinsville, Virginia.
All right, friends, make sure your hot rod's ready there. Have yourself a great day.
Very narrow racetrack, tight as a paper clip. Fans are coming to their feet. We're ready to go green in Martinsville.
Man, we're just grooving on a Monday afternoon.
Got these adjustments that'll help this box.
Try to hang in there the best we can. We'll work on it. You're by far the fastest car out there, so just take care of it. Really stupid question. What about the housing? Can we pull it back? Can we do that at all on a... No? Okay, never mind. Not enough lap time here. When I can see you shaking your head on the box, I pretty much know that's a big no.
Nice, smooth, save some equipment till later. You're beating almost a tenth of lap. You're looking real good. Simple. I'm in the red on my try to see what I do.
Boy, I don't know what happened to the 29, but he's off the pace, guys.
Brakes are going to the floor. I don't know why. Feels like there's a leak in the system somewhere. And get ready, guys. Pedals to the floor.
And remember, he was our points leader coming in here, so this will be huge.
Like the fluid's leaking from somewhere.
I think one thing has become pretty clear. If you're going to win here at Martinsville, you're going to need to beat Jeff Burton and Denny Hamlin today.
We'd be leading this race if we could get him just a little bit. We need to beat these guys. You gotta want this.
Almost looks like something happened to the 31 a little bit. All of a sudden, he's starting to push up off the corner.
We're gambling right here.
There it is, in the wall.
Caution's out, caution's out.
The caution waves for Jeff Burton.
65 laps on those tires. I think tires are gonna do it. What do you think? 10-4. Four tires.
The saving grace for Hamlin is how many cars behind him don't come, but he's coming, and so is Kyle Busch.
Oh, my gosh. No way.
Nobody comes with him. 4 laps to go.
But you know the deal here. If you take the white, it's over. If we don't, we can do it up to 3 times.
Green flag.
Gonna get crazy.
Gordon trying to win his...
Kyle Busch is sideways.
One more time. Not just
That's gonna bring the caution out.
I mean, we're feet away from the damn white flag. Therefore, it's good to be back. We're going to win a bunch.
Gordon, Newman, Kenseth.
He can do it. Cut down if he can get down in that hole right there. Looks like Kenseth's going to shut the door. Gordon wants the racetrack. Here comes Kenseth to the inside, but Hamlin following.
Everybody, everybody. Hamlin inside. Jeff Gordon.
Kenseth don't drop the corner. Here comes Hamlin.
Hamlin.
Got him. Oh, Lordy, what a mess.
Denny Hamlin. Joe Logano.
What a
Jeff
call.
Gordon.
I do not believe it. I don't believe it. Good job. You said we were going to win. We won.
Denny Hamlin gets the win here at Martinsville Speedway. Now, sometimes when a racetrack has 2 races in a season, when you go there the first time, it's completely different because the weather is different the second time. When you come to Martinsville, these are 2 completely different races, not because of the track conditions, but because of the chase being on. We wouldn't probably see Denny Hamlin taking that kind of a gambling team if it was a chase race and if there are points on the line, or would we?
You know what I like about that very last scene right there is you knew we were going to win. We won, and that's what we're thinking right now. But, yeah, the first race here, everybody's racing. It's good old short track racing. Boom, get out of my way. Today, these guys have got to take care of the right front tire. Can't be blowing tires out, or else you're not going to score any points for this championship.
No, but you know what I noticed about the last part is that's a microcosm of how we talk about the chase. Denny Hamlin can't win that race unless the 24 runs in the back of the 17, knocks him up, unless a bunch of guys, multiple things have to happen to get Denny Hamlin back to the front. And that's the way the points work in the chase. Multiple things have to happen to those guys for anybody else to get in the chase. Other than that, it's a 3-man chase.
Now, many observers have said all season long that Denny Hamlin is the one guy that Jimmy Johnson has to worry about, but that's not exactly the way the 4-time champion sees it.
I know there's a lot of hype coming into this race. A 4-point lead really isn't going to intimidate anyone. The larger the points lead, the better that can happen. I'm not going to get caught up in worrying about one guy. It's just not worth it at this point. But at the end of the day, I mean, when we leave here, there's still 4 races left, and there's so many points to be won or lost.
So we are at the true halfway point of this chase with 5 races to go. Jimmy Johnson's first, Denny Hamlin a mere 41 points back. But we have said by virtue of qualifying that lead goes away as soon as we start the race. It may be there when we finish it, but then again, it's there when we start the race. And Kevin Harvick, 77 back, certainly within striking distance.
Well, one thing that deals everybody a fit at Martinsville and can change the game is something as simple as the curb on the inside. You go flying down there, you want to get underneath a guy. It's not like any other racetrack where you go under the yellow line. At this racetrack, watch out all day long. boom, you're in the curb, you're in that driver in front of you, and you're out of the race, bending tie rods up. So this is a very fine line of a racetrack. Got to have great pit stops, can't be hitting the curb. I mean, what other racetrack do we have on the circuit where they're like, watch out for the curb? It's like, where? It's this tall. It's the Kmart parking lot curb here at Martinsville.
Well, let's go to Wendy Venturini, who's standing by with today's pole sitter. Wendy?
Thank you, Johnny. Yes, a pole, second pole at Martinsville for Denny Hamlin. The last time Jimmie Johnson or Denny Hamlin didn't win at Martinsville was 2006. Denny, you're making this a good show for you, but you told me on Friday the most important thing was to qualify. You did it, man.
Well, that was a big objective of ours, is, because bonus points are so critical when you're dealing with 20, 30 points, that we can have a 10-point swing possibly if we can lead a lap and possibly keep the 48 from leading the lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out, but for us, it's we're just going to go out there and try to win the race today.
And it's a long race, but we do know when the green flag drops, I know you're a stat man, you will be the points leader by 38 points. Does that even make a difference to you?
Not really. I mean, because I know both the 29 and the 48 will be coming as soon as the green flag drops. So that number will continue to reduce itself throughout the evening. But if everyone has a good, clean race, we're still going to have a tight finish at the end.
So what is going to be the key for you to make it 4 wins in the last 6 races here at Martinsville?
It's tough to say. I mean, I think I still have a little bit of reserves about my car for today. I'm not sure exactly what I have. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. These conditions are a little bit warmer than what we had yesterday during final practice, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, but I'm pretty sure that we should be pretty good.
Are you ever paying attention to Jimmie Johnson, Kevin Harvick, the guys around you in the chase, or do you try and do your own thing?
No, I got myself caught up last year worrying about the scoreboard, looking at where they were at, and it doesn't help. All it does is it affects your mindset. It puts you either in a good or a bad mood, or it makes you drive differently than what you normally would. So all I can do is just worry about trying to win today.
I'm sure you can find room for one more grandfather clock. You always know what time it is, don't you?
Absolutely.
All right. Denny Hamlin looking to make it another win here at Martinsville, Johnny. And I think he'd like to keep that Jimmie Johnson and Denny Hamlin, more importantly, the Denny Hamlin streak going, Johnny.
It must be really loud in Denny Hamlin's house every hour on the hour
Ding,
with
ding,
all those
ding.
grandfather clocks. Well, let's take a look at our speed fantasy rating racing scoreboard right now, as Team Race Day still has a commanding lead over the hub and trackside. And the Camping World Truck Series way back there, they need to do something about this. But
Once again,
Come on, Ray. Come on, Ray.
They're not going to be able to catch us this week, because we got the big red truck coming right at you. Take a look at our picks. You'd be stupid not to go with Denny Hamlin. But how about Juan Pablo Montoya out of the B group? What do you guys think of that? Good pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick
Yeah,
for
that's
him.
a road-
Great pick.
Road course type racetrack. He's good with brakes, so I think he'll be okay.
And we like Casey Mears because he's got Booty Barker behind him. He's also a heck of a race car driver out of the C group. Not really a C Series driver, but nonetheless, he is our pick for Team Race Day Martinsville picks. Now, he is perhaps the most successful driver that is not in the chase. Jamie McMurray has had a hell of a season so far, and he capped it off with yet another win last weekend, as we'll talk to driver number 1 when we come back to Race Day. There are some big prizes and big paychecks handed out throughout the course of a Sprint Cup season, and Jamie McMurray clearly took the 2 biggest, the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400, and that capped a season that many might argue is more successful than some of the guys who are actually in the chase.
I mean, it's disappointing that we're not in the chase, but we've had just an awesome year, and you certainly can't dwell on the fact that you're not in. You just go out and you try to do your best every week.
McMurray will get it. His first time out with Earnhardt Ganassi Racing. He will win the 52nd running of the Daytona 500.
Got it, man. We won. Can you believe we just won the Daytona 500? Third Eye Award. Ow, that was so awesome.
To be where I was last year, and for Johnny Morris and Chip and Felix, Bass Pro Shops, to take a chance on me and let me come back, it means a lot to me. What a way to pay them back.
You think about a kid that last year was beat up, didn't even know if he's going to have a ride this year or not. Gets in that one car, wins the Daytona 500, and runs so well.
Nice race there, Bono. Great way to call it. Good job with the pits all day, guys.
I don't think that Chip Ganassi will be too disappointed with the effort of McMurray tonight. I mean, his car has run so well, led the race, pretty impressive.
McMurray and Harvick to the backstretch.
Dig hard, dig hard.
Here they come. Harvick! It's Harvick! He got him!
McMurray opened that bottom just enough.
Jamie McMurray started the year winning the Daytona 500. Today, he wins the 2010 Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, giving Chip Ganassi a clean sweep of Indianapolis and the Triple Crown of Motorsports, the Daytona 500, the Indianapolis 500, and today, the Brickyard 400. Jamie McMurray starting to lay claim to this race. Just 10 more laps to go, and McMurray starting to pull away from Kyle Busch.
Am I still getting away, Bono? 1 second lead. Your best car, a little better. You're the best car, man.
White flag this time, man. No pressure. White flag.
Jamie McMurray may not be a chaser, but tonight in Charlotte, he was the best racer. He will win the Bank of America 500.
Hell yeah! Woohoo!
Good job, man. Awesome job all night. Way to be patient with those guys.
Great job. Great job.
Well, Jamie, this is getting to be a habit, getting together here on race day after 3 big wins for your team this year. Congratulations on another big-time win for you guys last week.
Yeah, that's so cool to be able to win at Charlotte. I won there back in 2002, and you just don't realize how many friends and family members are at the track. And it's also nice because when the race was over, there was no rush to get home. We went back to our bus and hung out, the whole team. So it was we had a good time.
What's been the biggest difference? I know you've talked about a lot of things, and you've been at the top, you've been back to the bottom, and now back at the top again. What makes the difference when things are clicking for you guys, as opposed to last year when you were struggling to get those top 15, top 20 finishes?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing the year that we've had, and I wish I could tell you the exact difference. If we knew that, we would never have the struggling days. But we just have a really good team, and I think this weekend's a really good example. Even though we qualified 9th, we didn't feel like we had a very good car in practice, and the guys came up with a really good setup in happy hour, and thought we had one of the best cars at the end. So things are just going your way, and it's amazing when things are going your way, how it's hard to mess it up, and when things aren't going your way, it doesn't really matter what you do, you can't make it better.
Talk about the race today. You go from 1.5 mile racetrack with a lot of room to a half-mile bull ring, probably a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of bumping, and a lot of hot tempers we'll see down the racetrack. What's your outlook for today's event?
Well, today is about making it to, for me, lap 350. If you can keep your brakes on the car until then, normally guys race really hard at the beginning of this and you use your car up. And if you save some brakes for towards the end of the race, it makes it a lot easier. So just stay out of trouble, and at some point you're going to be mad today, and you have to go into that with a mindset and understand that.
Well, Jamie McMurray looking for number 4, win number 4 on the season this year. He's got a good car for today's race too, Johnny.
And Hermie, Jamie McMurray has reminded us of 2 things this year. First of all, nice guys can finish first. And second of all, Kyle, don't necessarily write off a driver just because he doesn't have a seat in the series.
No, we're sitting here last year, and 09 appears to be a career-ending year for Jamie McMurray. Now we're sitting here a year later, and it's a career year for Jamie McMurray. The Daytona 500, Brickyard 400, and a win at Charlotte, and we look at all the second-place finishes. We look at Darlington, you look at Talladega, you look at places like that. This is a team, and this is a driver. And just as he said, what's the difference between this year and last year? Last year, the driver gave up on the team, and the team gave up on the driver late in the year. This year, the team believes in the driver, and the driver believes in the team. And that's the biggest difference when you talk to them. It's their attitude right now.
Something that I have learned in this sport, you're sitting there as a race car driver, and you have your fire suit on, and all of a sudden you see a driver in his street clothes walking around the garage area. Don't ever count him out, and don't make fun of that driver in street clothes. He might be out that week, that year, but he will be back. And this is a perfect message to all of you drivers out there, what Jamie McMurray is doing this year. Remember, he didn't have a job at the end of last year. Good job, Jamie McMurray.
Hermie Sadler's got 2 jobs today. He's got to be pit reporter as well as race car driver. And Hermie, the driver's meeting is a big part of the day preparation-wise for a driver.
It really is, Johnny, and the driver's meeting just broke up right here in the tent, right beside the Goodyear facility here in Martinsville Speedway. One note that came up in the driver's meeting, everybody stood up and applauded and honored Barney Hall, for over 50 years of service to NASCAR and MRN Radio, and everybody on this show has had a relationship with Barney Hall over the years, and he's been great for the sport. So thanks, Barney, for being here today and everything he's done for the sport. But, you know, they give you a lot of information on the video screen about the rules and regulations for today's race. But here's a little handout they give us in the driver's meeting for the crew chiefs. It talks about awards from last week's race. Then you scroll down, driver intros, 12:30, remove generators, 12:45. Pledge of Allegiance, 1 o'clock, Invocation 101, National Anthem, Command to Start Engines, and then, you know, pit road speed, caution car speed, where pit road speed begins, all the rules and regulations for today's race, and a lot goes on at a short track. So pretty interesting for the fans to be able to see what they give the drivers in the crew chiefs and the drivers meeting. But other than tell us gas is on the right, brakes on the left, and no bumping and no zigzagging, a pretty standard drivers meeting, Johnny.
And Hermie, that's very cool to see Barney Hall get honored like that. He's the standard by which the rest of us are judged, and he's not retiring yet. They're just honoring him now for 50 years. Barney's going to be with us for a while, and that is very good news. And another guy who's going to be with us for a long time is the King, Richard Petty. When we come back, we will talk about Richard Petty Motorsports, and also driver Casey Kane will tell us exactly what is going on with his situation as he heads into his first race with a new team. There's the King.
The Chase's #1 rule is everyone but Jimmy gets into trouble. And that's true this year as well. Class is in session as race day shows you the many ways to lose a championship. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
Welcome back, everybody, to the historic Martinsville Speedway, where the question is, can anyone derail Jimmy Johnson's Drive for 5? It's the only place that has a famous hot dog, not just a hot dog, but a famous hot dog, and it is famous for great short track racing. And we have a beautiful day to watch Jimmy Johnson try to defend his title lead as he starts number 19. Jimmy Johnson's won here 5 times before, but Denny Hamlin is going for his 3rd straight win, 4 overall, and he will start from the pole today. Yet another big news item of the week, though, surrounds Casey Kane. No adjustment to your set necessary. That is Casey in a Red Bull uniform. And last Saturday night, a little trouble with that race team as the number 9 went for a spin. Casey did not get back in that car after it was repaired. J.J. Yaley did. And then for the rest of the week, we found ourselves talking about Richard Petty Motorsports. More on that in just a moment, as Casey will start 33rd today with his new race team, Team Red Bull. Let's go to Wendy Venturini with Casey Kane.
Thanks, Johnny, and I'm with Casey Kane now. Last Saturday night, Casey, it's been a whirlwind of a week. A lot of people wanted to label you a quitter, so to speak. I think the truth will prevail. How do you make the last 7 days, and how do you handle all of this?
Well, there's been a lot going on throughout the week, just trying to get it situated for myself and RPM, and I think we've done that. It's been a pretty good week. Thursday was a pretty busy day getting all my stuff in the Red Bull car, but the guys were really excited, and we had a good time, you know, getting the car ready. And I haven't been the fastest here, but slowly but surely we've picked up in each practice, and I felt like final practice we were decent. So, you know, hopefully throughout the 500 laps today we can make some gains and be pretty strong by the end of the race.
This is almost like a marriage breakup, so to speak, with 6 years at RPM. But you have a smile on your face. It's really the only thing you can do in this situation.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good 6 years there, and looking forward to my next however many years in this sport. And I love NASCAR. I love being part of this sport. So to be with Red Bull, it's exciting and something new. Working with a new team for the next few races, which will be kind of cool for me, something different. Some guys to learn and things, and then working with Kenny next year will be great again. So I just sitting pretty good right now. We just have to try to figure out how to run good the rest of the year and make some gains and be ready to, you know, be prepared when next season starts.
And you told me yesterday after the first practice that you wanted to change some things in the car because you couldn't get a real good feel. You couldn't turn your hands the way you wanted. Was that able to be worked out for today's race? Were you able to get more comfortable in the car?
Yeah, we were. It was just turning really, you know, a little too good. So we backed off on that. It took a little while to make those changes. And by the end of the second practice, middle of second practice, I felt like we were pretty decent on older tires. So I don't know. We'll see today. The track will be different. The weather's a little bit nicer, a little warmer, and create a different race for us. But I think we should be in good shape.
All right, all the Casey Kane fans tuning in, what do you want, if you had a chance to tell them anything right now with these final 4 or 5 races that we have to go, what would you tell him, Casey?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you know, I enjoy all our fans. We have a lot of great fans, and they've been pretty positive through all this. And I just want to win races. I want to do the best I can and put in the effort. And I feel like I do that, and I feel like I'm going to keep doing that. And so I just thank them for their support.
All right, thanks to Kasey Kahne for joining us on race day. He's headed out, but of course, Kasey Kahne's had a tough week, Johnny, but he has approached the media. He has answered these tough questions, and that is not an easy job to do.
Exactly, Wendy. When a driver the caliber of Kasey Kahne makes a team move with before the season ends, that's got to be a big story. Obviously, there were some underlying pressures on the team, but when Kasey Kahne made that move, that's when it all came out. Now, on race day, we did make the offer to Robbie Loomis and to Jack Roush to appear with us live to talk. They declined. Kasey Kahne did come on and say, hey, he's looking forward to the future, and that's it.
One thing I want to clarify is I have been listening to some good radio shows and people wanting to say, Kasey Kahne's a quitter. He signed a contract. He should have jumped back in that wrecked car and got those points. Listen, you don't always hear everything, you know. And let me tell you something. When you're sitting out there and you're all comfortable on your couch, or you say something that you don't know about. In other words, what I'm telling you is we have inside information. We know the real story. And I want to let you know, Kasey Kahne is not a quitter. You just don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know, and Kyle, don't you? That's wrong for you to sit and say he's a quitter.
Yeah.
You don't know everything. I do.
Yeah, you know, Kasey's been there for 6 years, okay? And this thing has been coming to a head. We saw the timeline earlier. Kasey said he was leaving this team at the end of the year. These guys, just as I said about Jamie McMurray a minute ago, these guys have given up on each other. And Charlotte was just the tip of the iceberg. Finally, you know, Kasey gave up on the team, and the team gave up on Kasey, and they decided to go their separate ways. Nobody quit anything. Kasey's got a future at Red Bull. Now, let me be real clear about this. I said it on this stage earlier in the year, and I'll say it again. This is just another level of the cluster of Kasey Kahne going to the 83 Red Bull team, because now here he is thrown into that mix 5 races early on a Thursday morning trying to get ready for a Cup race. Can you imagine showing up at training camp or showing up at an NFL team on a Thursday trying to get ready for an NFL game? That's what this is all about. So, you know, I don't think anybody, I agree with Kenny, nobody quit anybody. I think everybody just gave up on that situation and said, let's go do something else. And I think they all parted, and they appear to have parted on decent terms. You know, give it a year or so and the truth will come out. Right now, we're just hearing the spin.
And let's add to this cluster you talk about. It's only 1 year with Red Bull, then he goes to Hendrick Motorsports.
And you know, it's sad to say, but you got to involve Rick Hendrick in this whole deal, because Rick Hendrick said, hey, I'm going to sign you up and have you a good ride right now. And I got to say that this probably isn't the ride that they intended on.
All right, let's now go for another side of this story with Hermie Sadler, who is standing by with Marcus Ambrose.
Well, Marcus Ambrose, interesting couple of days for you guys. But first of all, let's talk about some good news. Great qualifying run for you guys, starting P2 today at Martinsville. Got to love that.
Yeah, we had a real chance at our first pole position, and Denny got us by 3/1000ths of a second. But we're proud of our front row start. Pretty anxious here to get off the line well, get to the bottom as quick as I can. You know, I don't want to be hung out to dry, and we're excited about it. At the same time, you know, front row start here at Martinsville is a huge advantage. We want to make the most of it.
Well, obviously, a lot of fans, and some of the fans that may not be following closely, know that you have signed next year to be at Richard Petty Motorsports. They've been in the news some this week. What can you tell us about what you know about what's going on over there, and if any of that information has impacted your plans?
Well, definitely there's, you know, some uncertainty, and, you know, there's been some stuff milling around this week in the press, and, you know, I'm committed to RPM, looking forward to driving for them in 2011 if they can, you know, get through these next few weeks and get some stability back and get their future planned out. I look forward to driving for them. I'm talking to the guys every day. You know, I'm not involved in any of the issues they've got at hand right now. I just wish them the best, and hopefully I'll get the chance to be part of their program for 2011.
Well, talk about as a driver, though, because to run 500 laps here at Martinsville, it takes 100% focus from the driver. Does everything that's going on and some of those uncertainties, does it affect your concentration on the racetrack while you're racing?
Well, it's actually nice to be back in the race car, because that's all I can control. You know, I'm a race car driver, that's what I do, and I like to press the gas pedal to the floor and turn left all day, and I can control that. I can't control the destiny of the team and the future of it. All I can do is, you know, throw my support behind them, and hopefully, you know, the next few weeks to be smoother than the last couple.
And winning would fix a lot of problems, a lot of stuff going on today. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Just really proud of JTG. You know, we're running hard for them to the end of the year, and just really got to thank them for the opportunities.
And I want to say, Marcus just touched on it. A lot of people have asked, will Marcus make the jump to the 9 car before the end of the season? No way. He's committed to this 47 team to finish out this season in a strong way, Johnny.
Hermie, thanks a lot. Once again, Marcus Ambrose always has that smile on his face. Now, some of the guys who won't be smiling until this thing is all said and done are the over-the-wall pit crew members as they prepare for a very difficult day. We'll take you into the pits, tell you exactly what's going to go on to survive this short track race at Martinsville. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Race number 6 of the 2010 chase brings us to the big paperclip at the Martinsville Speedway, and 500 laps around this track means that you're going to get on the brakes and turn the wheel 1,000 times over the course of about a 4-hour period. It's tough on race cars, and it's tough on drivers as well, and our good friend Hermie Sadler will be behind the wheel today. Hermie spent a lot of time in the race truck and the race car this weekend. What can you tell us about a lap around Martinsville?
Well, a lot of things have changed, but one thing has not, and that's how tough Martinsville is. Let's take a couple laps around this racetrack, riding with Tony Stewart. Now, we're riding on Tony Stewart's front bumper. Don't you think that camera's going to get some action today? But here we go. Down in turn 1, you want to stay right close to that curbing, get the car pointed, get a good shot off the corner. Forward bite will be an issue today. That's what you'll hear the drivers complaining about all day. Need more forward bite. Something else to watch out for is overdriving the corners. Watch Juan Pablo Montoya go down into turn 1, gets in too hot. Watch him slide up the racetrack. That is a mistake on the driver's part. If you do that today, you will lose a lot of spots on this racetrack. So very, very much a rhythm racetrack, Johnny. You got to do the same thing for 500 laps.
You know, Jimmy Johnson told us that a little bit earlier in this show. He said that as soon as he figured out the rhythm, he started getting very successful at this racetrack. Want to say thanks to our friends at BSI for putting that camera on the front of the race car. They do a great job delivering the fans the in-car looks, but it shows you guys really how a lap around this place is. And one of the fun things to do is to stand there on the front stretch and watch the front of that car come up when they accelerate and dive back down when they hit the corner.
And you notice there, it was great because Juan Pablo Montoya was so loose getting in the corner. Tony Stewart just really getting in the corner good. One thing that I always worked on here that really benefited me was late in the run. Make sure you get in the corner. It's a tough track, isn't it, Kyle, to get in, not spin out?
Yeah, but there was that parking lot curb that you talked about.
Right.
And that was a great visual of the curb, and you see how close Tony gets down on the curb. And that's the deal, rolling through the center of the corner. You talk about getting in, but, you know, you watch the guys, and you heard Hermie talk about forward bite. It's all about rolling through the center and being able to ease back in the throttle or get back to the gas as quick as you can to accelerate up off of it.
And one of the reasons qualifying is so huge at this racetrack is because of the tight pit roads. Some of the pit stalls are actually curved, and there's certainly not much room when you got a half-mile racetrack and all those pit stalls. Isn't that correct, Hermie?
Well, Johnny, you're exactly right. And you go back to the beginning of the show today, Wendy Venturini said Denny Hamlin spent all day on Friday in qualifying training. Number 1, he wanted that track position. Number 2, he wanted that number 1 pit stall around the other side of this racetrack. Now, we're in pit stall number 23 for the 71 car, and reason that's not as good as being around the other end, once the drivers in this side of pit road get their pit stop done and leave, you still got to watch out for cars breaking out of their pit stop and slowing you down on pit road. But let's take a look at the 71 pit box. As you can see, things are set up. You got a camera up top. They'll film all the pit stops. Take a look at it. There's the pit sign. And as we come back across pit road, we've got all the jacks, 2 jacks, air hoses. We want to put wedge in, wedge out. We got a wrench for each one to do that. Cans for the gas. We got a lot of Goodyear tires laying around. And look at the monitors back here where the pit crew guys can watch the monitor, see what's going on the racetrack, and keep up with the 71 car on the track. We are prepared to run 500 laps today, but Wendy Venturini, pit road will play a key in this race today, especially for the guys in that chase, because for those guys, every point counts.
Absolutely, Hermie. The guy sitting on top of this pit box, the 11 pit box, crew chief Mike Ford making those calls as they come to pit road today. Now, I spoke with Mike Lepp, who is the pit crew coach. They, obviously, pit stall number 1 is an advantage, but here's the thing. It's only the second time this season they've had pit stall number 1 because it's the second pole of the season for Denny Hamlin. Mike Lepp has told the over-the-wall crew they need to stay on their game. You can't relax having this first pit stall. It's a huge advantage for the team, a half-second advantage, according to Mike Leff. They can have a 13-second pit stop here, and Jimmy Johnson, whose pit box is in number 17 mid-pack, can have a much faster pit stop, a half a second, and still Denny Hamlin could beat the 48 out of the pit box. Now, the 48 qualifying 19th will be right in between all of those cars, but the advantage here is in pit stall number 1. The key is for the crew on the 11 team to just do their job as they normally do and not get too complacent with being in pit stall number 1. Johnny?
And Wendy, you better believe those crew members are down there before the race, checking every lug nut, every air wrench, making sure everything's exactly right, because in racing, you're only as good as your plan B, and those Chase drivers have a good plan B. Well, Kurt Busch has a ritual. He does it before every race, and we will show you exactly what that is as NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, rolls on from Martinsville. Welcome back to Martinsville, everyone. We are less than 2 hours away from the green flag here. Kurt Busch does it every race day. Earlier today, he went to his souvenir hauler and sat down and signed autographs for the fans. It's his ritual on race day. He does it every time to the delight of the Kurt Busch fans. Now, Kurt Busch was the first ever driver to win in the Chase format. Did that back in the number 97 Roush car when this format was instituted. But since then, he has been one of the drivers who has been struggling in this year's 2010 Chase. With 5 races to go, Jeff Gordon finds himself 156 points out. Then it's 177, 200, 225. Now, that does not mathematically eliminate you, but for some drivers, it realistically eliminates you. But let's hear what these guys have to say about the top 3.
At the halfway point of the chase, many things remain uncertain, especially with wild cards like Martinsville and Talladega in the mix. But with just 5 races left to crown a champion, one thing that is certain is that some chasers have no room left to stumble. In the Chase's first race at Loudon, 5 contenders quickly found themselves in a hole.
We have a wheel coming loose or something. News vibration getting worse. Buddy, bring it around a pit if you think you need a pit. I can't tell you what to do. If it's not feeling right, just bring it in.
Matt Kenseth is spinning, slapping the outside wall in 2, and the caution is out yet again.
3 wide. Last I heard was 2 wide, but I went in there. It must have been 3 wide, and 12 wiped me out there. Just ran out. So stay on track. Stay on track.
Even race winner Clint Boyer's championship hopes were devastated by an insurmountable 150-point penalty. At Dover, Boyer's struggles continued as he could not overcome the public scrutiny and finished 25th, while Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, and Matt Kenseth drudged through a myriad of problems, causing them to lose points.
There's a problem for Matt Kenseth. He missed the entrance to pit road. He's in turn 1 right now, and I believe he's lost the left front tire.
Get in and out of here so we get scoring caught up here and worry about fixing it later. Gotcha. Right in here. Right in here. Let's fix the car up, guys.
Kansas Speedway was up next for the Chasers. After finishing 2nd at Dover, Jeff Burton could not follow up with another good points finish and struggled to finish 18th. On a day when Kyle Busch looked to take the points lead, he tussled with the wrong non-chaser.
He wrecked himself. Keep coming. There will be a caution. Oh, I missed him. Keep her going. Come on. If there's anybody in the garage area, get the rear end housing ready, get the truck arm ready. Well, I bet you we're going to be going that way. You know we're going to go several laps down if we change that housing. Even if we got to limp around and go 5 laps down or 10 laps down, we'll still have a better point today.
Auto Club Speedway in California would prove to be one of the biggest obstacles for the Chasers, with no less than 6 of them having problems.
Big plume of smoke. Looks like the motor has given away on the Greg Biffle Roush Fenway Ford.
The ignition has failed. Everything else is fine. The car is not running, so I'm going to come to you and let's change out ignition boxes. None of the switches make a difference.
All right, guys, we're going to change out ignition boxes here. Changing out ignition boxes.
I knew it was coming. 5 laps ago, something happened in the intake. If anybody wasn't sure that the championship was over, it's certainly over now.
Oh, look out, trouble here. First big crash of the day. David Reagan and Kurt Busch, and another Chase driver in trouble.
And most recently at Charlotte Motor Speedway, some Chasers just seem to be running out of power.
All power gone. Check your fuel switch, check your Roush fuse. And you got a battery number 2. All right, let's just make sure you got all your fans shut off, your air conditioner, your fans in your back. We need to have all the electrical load shut off. If the alternator quit and run battery 1 down, that's why it shut off. Now we're on battery 2. We're going to have to try to milk this thing home here.
And luck.
A car sliding, barely avoiding the wall. That's the Jeff Burton machine. Slides right down in front of Marcus Ambrose.
Go to Dylan there and tell him I'm sorry. I tried to make a hole there. It wasn't there. My fault.
Through it all, Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick sit second and third in points, less than 100 markers out of the lead. And despite not winning in the chase, consistency has kept them in contention by finishing in the top 15 in every chase race thus far. However, even though he struggled to finish 25th at Loudon, Jimmy Johnson has finished in the top 3 in every race since, including a win at Dover. And that's a recipe that could help Johnson make even more NASCAR history.
Now, the popular talk in the garage area after this chase started was the fact that there may be a kink in the armor of the number 48 team as they went for their 5th championship. But now it appears that Superman is back.
It's a sport, so the best man wins. I mean, that's how it goes. If Jimmy's the fastest and he wins, that's okay. You know, I mean, it's a sport. I mean, we go out, we have the rules set, we all race under the same rules, we race at the racetrack, and when it's over, whoever wins, wins.
You know, I love Jimmy Johnson. He's a great guy. I enjoy him off the racetrack. I had more fun with him than I probably have with a lot of racers, you know, at Eldora and things like that. But, you know, by no means do I want him to win this championship. I think it's bad for everybody.
It's hard to appreciate it when you're in it for any of us, even them. And it's easy to say you want somebody else to win. But you know what? What they're proving right now is if somebody else is going to win, they got to come and fight really hard for it.
So basically, is everybody saying here, hey, Jimmy Johnson's a nice guy, we just don't want him to win this thing?
Yeah, I kind of like what Clint said. Clint said what 99% of these fans say. You know, Jimmy winning all the time is bad for us. But it's really not. I don't think. I like what Jeff backed it up with to say, hey, if you want it, come and get it. That's what the Yankees said. That's what Green Bay said. That's what every team that has dominated a sport, somebody's got to go take it away from them. Jimmy and those guys dominate. It's Clint and these other guys and all these other teams' jobs to go take it away from them. Easier said than done, I might add. I'm glad I'm setting my butt here and not out there trying to do it.
And in our culture of hate, though, it seems like, I mean, what are we going to hate next? Ice cream? I mean, how can you dislike Jimmy Johnson, or how can you dislike somebody going out there and kicking everybody's butt? Because that's what he's doing.
I can see why you don't like the Yankees, because they got 20 times more amount of money.
That's a St. Louis. That's a St. Louis comment. That's a St. Louis comment.
Jimmy Johnson does not have any more money than anybody else. And remember this, if he has more money than everybody else, he earned it by being a 4-time champion.
So when they talk about other competitors and some fans say, hey, look, we got to change the last 10 races of the season because they favor Jimmy Johnson. I ask the question, where are you going to go? What doesn't favor Jimmy Johnson? Where doesn't he run well? And how can you put a track where he doesn't run well in the chase just to try to derail him?
Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus capitalized and planned this deal out when they said, okay, these are the 10 races. They're the best at these 10 races. Change it up, but that would be ridiculous. They'll just be the best at those 10 races.
Okay, so you think the Sprint Cup trophy is a big trophy? Well, we have a huge trophy to be given away this year, and that is the Race Day Fantasy Pick. The Sunoco race, the Sunoco Performance Picks are coming up next, and we're going to see who's the king of that.
Oh!
Next week, the boys blow into Bama and go flag to flag on NASCAR's fastest track, where the big one can turn the chase upside down. Can Happy put the heat on the 48 by making it a season sweep? Or will Jimmy widen his lead over Hamlin and the gang? Live from Talladega at 10 a.m. Eastern, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot on speed.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Please give to the Stop
$1. We don't want to stop Jimmy.
That's funny stuff. I don't care. That's funny stuff. That is probably the best. Right after us singing, that's the best.
I love it.
Now, as we take a look at our Sunoco performance picks, we want to clarify something. If a certain competitor had not been penalized 150 points, he would have a 144-point lead instead of being 60.
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have, because we finished up in there too. It's not like they just you're doing the math wrong. You're doing the math wrong for me. Anyhow, I pick for the 6th week in a row the 11 car of Denny Hamlin, because he's carried me this far. So JR, let's give you. Shut up again. Once again, shut up. Okay, who do you pick, JR?
All right, we're gonna
I'm gonna give you 150 points.
All right, this is big. You know, you can't. You took it away. You can't give it back
to you because I like you.
You can't give it back. Well, then I'd be the hands-down leader right now. Because we need big-time help on this team, we're going to a big-time drivers had great success this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin have owned the place for a while. The last guy to win here was Tony Stewart. And Anthony Joseph Stewart is going to win this thing today.
That's why we don't give you 150 points. You waste a pick.
I'm not wasting a pick on Tony Stewart.
That was great.
Are you kidding me? Oh, boy, I'm going to have a laugh in victory lane tonight when Tony sprays you with Coca-Cola. He's going to spray you. Wendy?
All right, boys, I missed you last Saturday night, but I have consulted Randy Pemberton on my pick again today, because apparently it did me good with a win with Jamie McMurray. The guy I'm going with today, it could possibly stop the Jimmy Johnson foundation, because every time I pick the 48, he finishes worse than 25th. I don't know, but I'm going with the 48 today.
You needed Randy's help for that, Wendy?
Yeah, I did. Maybe I'll get another win. Who knows? But it's only 18 points between me and the top. That's not too bad, Kenny.
I'm going to tell you what. I was leading the points. The Biff blew a motor. You know, I was having problems with these guys, so I'm going to a Chevrolet. He's a Virginia boy. I'm picking Jeff Burton. He was running really good here the last race, had a right front flat. Richard Childress said, boys, put a little air in my right front.
What a nice hat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's an Earnhardt hat. Hermie Sadler.
Well, I know everybody at home is thinking I'm going to pick myself today as my fantasy pick because I need maximum points, but I'm not. I'm going to pick Joey Logano. You know, we had a great finish here in the spring, and Denny Hamlin came back to win with a great last restart. Guess who finished second? Joey Logano. But I would like to argue to the court one item, JR. I'd like to put it out there to you guys that if I finish in the top 25 in the 71 car, that I get my points too. Can I get a ruling on that, please?
Yes.
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 I vote yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it to
yes.
you.
Yes.
I vote
We're
yes.
not that scared of you, Hermie, because our picks are going to be better than yours. Anyway, no, we got it. We always like to help out our buddy Hermie Sadler. And we want to remind you, the fans, if you would like to win a real Sunoco fuel can, it is possible for you to do just that. In the Sunoco fuel can giveaway, visit speed.com/Sunoco, and some lucky fan will get a Sunoco fuel can. And we want to wish the best of luck to our good friend Hermie Sadler. We know you're going to get behind the wheel of that car and drive the wheels off of it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And hey, want everybody to see, got my new uniform here, Hermie and Elliott Sadler Foundation. Got some cool gloves I'm gonna wear today. My fireproof underwear. I got a fireproof shirt. Only problem is I never fit into that. Got shoes, helmet, the whole 9 yards. I'm excited about getting on the racetrack today for 500 laps, but I'm also excited to have a close-up view of what happens for this chase to the championship. Wendy?
Hermie, we're excited to watch you, but I do want to tell you of a driver change that's happening today, and it's not with the Sprint Cup car. It is with our pace car that usually drives for this race. Brett Bodine is not here at Martinsville Speedway today. Our condolences go to his mother, Carol June Bodine, who passed away 2 nights ago. Our thoughts go out to the whole entire Bodine family. Brett's not here. Of course, Todd raced the truck race last night, and it's been chaotic for the whole family, so our wishes go out to them. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. We want to thank everybody here at the Martinsville Speedway for having us out today. Great race fans here in Virginia, and they are fired up for 500 laps around this short racetrack. Be sure to join us tonight in Victory Lane as we will have the winner from today. See you, everybody.